Hey guys, so welcome back to Project Eden's Garden. Let's carry on where we left off. It's the meat and potatoes of any Danganronpa game, including a fan one. It's the class trial. Despite the fact that it's the prologue, it's here, and we are about to enter the courtroom and argue our case for historical victim Kara Koskinen. Before we do that, though, let's review our truth bullets one last time. We did go into detail at the end of the previous episode, so let's just gloss over them. We got the tablet, the bloody knife, the assault rifle, the bucket, and the victim's hands. Not a lot to go on, but I'm sure we can make it work. The real question is, are we going to meet the mastermind in the courtroom? I don't think we saw them during our brief glimpse into it, but who knows, maybe they've made an appearance now. It's time to begin. Class trial in session. I also get a bit of a voice break, don't I, since these are usually fully voiced. Let's see how it plays out.
Begin with a brief explanation of the class trial.
Ah, it's all so familiar, even this opening line. Case 0.
The objective here is simple. Explain how the murder took place.
Okay, I do see a throne at the back of the courtroom. No one's sitting on it, however, but I'm sure it'll be taken up at some point.
Using evidence you've gathered during the investigation, you will argue what you believe happened to the victim. Should you all agree on the right answer, you will be free to leave this place.
Oh, actually, yeah, I haven't considered what will happen if we get it wrong. Do we all get executed, perhaps?
Should you all agree on the wrong answer, well, you'll find out.
Oh, you're such a tease. I wonder, actually, what if getting the wrong answer means we have to play the killing game? And getting the right answer will allow us to leave.
That's all there is to it. Have fun, everybody.
Okay, we'll do our best. Man, it's so interesting to see a full courtroom for once. Usually there's one of our classmates already deceased in a picture in their place, but this time all of us are standing in a circle.
Somebody, get me out of here.
I do admit I miss the official trial soundtrack that usually plays at the beginning of the trial, or even during court prep, but I think these guys have done well with the alternative soundtrack, and it's got that uneasy vibe going on right now, as you can see. I don't know why everyone's so nervous, though. I mean, yes, we've seen a dead body, but it was a dummy, and there's no implication that getting the answer wrong here will result in all of our deaths.
If this is something we must discuss, I know a good place to start.
Good, because we're all looking to you, Mr. Ultimate Lawyer, and I'm just, the discount version of you.
Get me out of here, 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 get me out of here!
Wow. Well presented there, Grace.
Somebody get me out of here!
Well, there you go. I was about to say you could probably just go for a stroll and see what happens, but I forgot that you could just easily get zapped. Oh, well, she's no longer here.
What happened to her?
Careful what you wish for.
Oh, shit! They fried her brain!
Yeah.
Calm down. It's only a shock. She won't suffer any permanent side effects.
Oh, good to know.
If I wanted to see the brain dead bicker, I'd just turn on the telly. On that note, please, carry on.
So, I suppose this is not being televised, otherwise would all be those brain-dead people you talk about. Holy shit. The people running this thing aren't playing around.
As you were saying, Wolfgang?
Right. The way I see it, the objective of this trial...
Oh, at least Wolfgang's just carrying on like nothing happened.
By the way, can I get like a seat with this thing? I'm just gonna be an onlooker. It's only fair.
No, we're all getting in the thick of it. Sleeves are partially rolled up. Might as well bring them all the way.
You're seriously not going to contribute?
What am I even supposed to do?
Talk. Influence us.
Hat on, buddy. We're here to solve a mystery.
You're the ultimate influencer.
Yeah, who murdered that dummy chick, right?
Not who murdered her, how they murdered her.
Yeah, the objective of this trial is supposedly to figure out what happened.
Did that tablet not explain it?
It listed her wounds, yes, but it didn't explain how they were inflicted.
Well, I would imagine the knife was plunged into her somehow.
Probably because it's so obvious.
But, Miss Amber, you didn't even read the tablet.
Huh.
And I don't have to.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Would you look at that? The debate's already underway.
If this were so easy, do you think we'd all be congregated here to discuss matters? Unintelligible. Yeah. These guys are clearly confused. I need to stop them before they arrive at the wrong conclusion. Oh gosh, do you hear that? That's the sound of a non-stop debate approaching. Here we go. Oh, it's been so long. During non-stop debates, your classmates will speak one after another without interruption. Students may say things that contradict the truth. Let's review. Looks like it's all straightforward enough. It's similar to V3's presentation. Truth cylinder, selecting truth bullet, time, weak spot, influence, focus gauge. I wonder if we're going to get any special things in place here. Don't suppose we're going to be lying or anything. Got the silencer, we can choose our bullets and shoot, so on and so forth. Gotcha. And it's your job to determine which statements must be broken in order to progress the trial. For your ammo, you've been armed with the truth bullets you gathered during the investigation. Truth bullets that are relevant to the debate will be loaded into your truth cylinder. Use the mouse to aim your reticle and press the right key to fire. You want to aim for words highlighted in gold. Those are the weak spots. A lie or contradiction may be hiding within a weak spot. Carefully compare your classmates' statements to the evidence you have gathered, and use the correct truth bullet to destroy the relevant weak spot. If things are flying by too fast, you can use the space bar to concentrate. This will temporarily slow down time. Speaking of time, be sure not to run out of it. That's an automatic game over. Not that someone of your caliber would ever fail. Oh, jeez, you're buttering me up, game. Anyway, press the F3 key to revisit these controls whenever you wish. That's all for now. Don't jump to too many conclusions. Okay, I'll try. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. That was a cool transition. Assault rifle and the bloody knife.
The mystery was never about who killed Kara, but how she died.
Right.
Is that true? Objection!
What?
It's obvious what the murder weapon was.
Okay.
I didn't get a good look at the crime scene, but the body was pretty bloody.
And what could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun?
Oh.
Ah, that's right. There was a gun.
You hear that, liar man? She agrees.
Wolfgang's just like, are you serious right now? And so is Damon. The loudest voices in the room aren't always the smartest. Fortunately, an uninformed argument is never difficult to shoot down. It's my time to shine. I might as well.
Who killed Kara?
We've only got 53 seconds left. Wow, they're not very generous with time, huh?
Objection!
Now, let me just see quickly. Can we speed things up? Yes, we can with shift.
I
Could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun.
Gun!
Ah, that's right.
What does that even have to do with anything?
Wait, what? She's right. How could I mess this up? Oh no! I was so confident as well.
The
Am I
mystery
using
was
the
never about
I was meant to
who
say the
killed
I was meant to say the
Kara,
rifle.
but how she
Let
died.
me just review the truth bullet real quick. There's a fully loaded assault rifle next to the victim's body. It was speckled with blood. Okay.
Is that true?
Interesting. I suppose that's what I need to present because the fact that it's fully loaded. I wish that was a bit more intuitive.
Besides that big scary gun.
Here we go. Done.
that's wrong.
I figure you could have presented the knife there. It was called the bloody knife after all. What else could have spilled that blood? Maybe the bloody knife.
Barely investigated the crime scene to begin with.
Oh, Damon's not messing around.
Oh, what? I searched that place from top to bottom.
You were focused on that fucking stepladder. You know that.
All right, then tell me, how was a fully loaded assault rifle used as the murder weapon?
That's easy. It wasn't.
Oh, yeah? Well, your hand's clipping through your dock right now.
Obviously, the shooter reloaded their gun to full capacity.
I see.
Any smart shooter could tell you that. Right, Desmond?
Why are you bringing me into this?
Well, there were no bullet casings in the area either, unless you're saying that the killer cleaned that up too. This is why I think that presenting the knife would probably be a bit better than presenting the gun. Unless I'm missing something here.
Except, the victim suffered multiple stab wounds to the torso.
Okay, there you go.
If a gun was fired, not only should the body have had bullet wounds, but there would be shell casings from the fired bullets. We saw neither at the crime scene.
Details. If the gun didn't do that, chicken, what was the actual murder weapon?
Oh, it'll be the thing I presented first. The actual murder weapon? That's obvious. Okay, concentrate here. We've only got 5 things. The door, the ladder, the knife, and the bucket. Kind of want to present something wrong just to see what these guys have come up with as alternative explanations for the wrong answers. Let's go with the ladder here.
The ladder is the murder weapon?
And that's pretty cool too. Normally in Danganronpa, if you present the wrong answer, the text, the flavor text, isn't voiced, but here, it is.
Naturally, the killer made the victim walk under it. The victim was then immediately beset with fatal bad luck, and they died from a heart attack moments later.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to risk getting some wrong answers here and there just to hear these alternative explanations.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Of course not.
What? No, Toshiko, you're supposed to be on my side here.
A ladder as the weapon? How absurd.
Oh, even the kid is laughing at me. Okay. Alright, one more, just for shits and giggles. The bucket.
The bucket.
The bleach was too much to breathe in, you know?
Wars have been fought over buckets. I'm not surprised one could be used for murder.
Well, there you go. Ulysses has a record of it.
Can you guys start taking this seriously?
Okay, Desmond, I'm sorry. Made a mistake. Okay, it was the knife.
I got it.
I promise I'm not salty that I got the first debate wrong.
The bloody knife. It's just so blatantly obvious. It was literally right next to the victim's body.
God.
Why so Cam's razor gotta ruin everything?
Because it's very applicable here.
Interesting. Both the knife and the rifle were present at the crime scene, but only the knife was used.
True.
Kind of weird, choosing the inferior weapon.
Depends. Some would argue that the knife is better in close quarters than a gun.
Nothing beats the sting of a sharpened blade.
If the killer didn't use the rifle, why was it at the crime scene?
True. Was it the killer's rifle, or did it belong to Kara?
Maybe it came from inside the closet.
Don't see why you'd be storing a gun in a janitor's closet.
Well, maybe the janitor's nickname was the Cleaner, because he eliminated his targets with clean efficiency.
Man, I don't know. What if it's not even related to the murder?
I mean, it has to be, right? There's blood on it.
Of course it's related. It's covered in blood.
There we go.
Oh no. Everyone's starting to yell.
Starting to yell, Diana? I don't know. We've been riled up already. This debate is getting out of control fast. I need to say something. Okay, here we go again. Let's try not to get it wrong this time. Tablet, assault rifle, and the victim's hands.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the knife
2 minutes.
were next to the victim's body.
Yes.
Yet they opted for the knife. Odd choice.
Depends. Like I
bet
said.
that gun didn't even work. These days, it's all about aesthetics over effectiveness.
A non-working gun?
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken, then the killer would have no reason to bring it with them. And yet, they did.
Watch it be for the aesthetic.
Okay, so some discussion about whether the gun actually works or not. It's easy to assume the killer was the one holding the gun, but let's review our truth bullets the moment we can, considering the details of the victim's death. I'm inclined to think otherwise.
To reiterate, both the
let's have a
rifle
look.
and the knife.
I was going to say, the debate truly is non-stop if I can't even review my truth bullets safely. There was a fully loaded assault rifle next to the victim's body. It was speckled with blood. There's no indication that it's not working. Okay, we're running out of time here. Damon's given us a clue that we're not supposed to assume the killer was the one holding the gun, which would mean we need to counter Winona's claim that the killer was the one who brought it. Considering the details of the victim's death, I'm inclined to think otherwise.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the
probably
knife
the fact that
were next to the victim's body.
The tablet says
Yet they
she was
opted
stabbed
for the knife.
28 times. Let's just see what the tablet says. Chemical burns to the head, notable burns into her eyes and scalp. Cause of death is blood loss, time of death is unknown.
Odd choice.
I bet that gun didn't
I
even
mean,
work.
I don't have time.
These days,
I'll
it's all
get it
about
reset as soon as I
aesthetics
fire
over
something.
effectiveness.
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken,
Oh! We're out of time, I had no choice. But it works. Way to cut close there, Damon.
Stop that thought right there. If we keep assuming the killer had the gun, we'll end up running in circles.
what? You think the killer was unarmed?
Yeah, well, not unarmed, but armed with a knife.
No, they were definitely armed. With a knife.
I like how Damon follows up my thoughts straight away.
The reason they didn't use the gun is probably because they never had it to begin with.
But then, who did?
Our victim.
Easy. The victim.
Whoa, the dummy had the gun?
the The original breathing human being did.
If it wasn't the killer, it has to be her. She must have brought it to the closet. She was probably carrying it before the murder, but dropped it when the killer attacked her.
Yeah, so it's obvious. The circumstances of the murder are she was participating in a battle royale game and she got lucky and picked up a rifle. Our poor killer, however, was stuck with a knife and had to be ingenious about how to approach the ultimate teacher's aid.
Oh, I guess that makes some sense.
Complete sense.
The only thing that would trouble you is why didn't she fire at all? Not even a single bullet.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Aren't you overlooking something?
Because even if she got stabbed and was unable to shoot her assailant, she'd have at least fired in a panic, right? And hit the wall or something?
Huh?
The victim was stabbed from the front, meaning she could have seen the killer coming, correct?
Maybe she dropped it in a panic.
If so, why didn't she shoot them?
A stealth attack! I bet the killer memorized her AI movements.
Oh no.
That girl must have been killed before she had the chance to defend herself.
I mean, what if she was coming out of the closet and he was just around the corner and as soon as she opened the door, he just plunged the knife in 28 times?
That's not technically true. There's evidence of a struggle between the victim and the killer.
We do have that. Specifically. Evidence that shows the victim attempted to fight back. The, blood under her nails, of course. Yes.
This is it.
I'm really loving the
We
presentation
found
of the
dried blood
trial.
under the victim's fingernails, which implies she was clawing at her attacker.
They've got some things borrowed from the game, but they've also put their own spin on things, like the initial introductions to non-stop debates, which is really cool.
Of course, no explanation is definitive without photo proof of the killer, but I'm confident this is what happened.
There you go.
Why would you resort to scratching when you're carrying a gun?
Well, maybe the gun was already out of her hands, Ulysses. What do you think about that?
Did something get in the way of her using it?
Wonder if that killer stole it from her.
Disarmed her, perhaps?
She should have seen or heard him coming from the hallway at the very least.
Why do you think she was in the hallway?
That's where the fight happened, right?
Is it?
I think you're getting ahead of yourself. How can we be sure the fight happened there?
Maybe the fight started in the hallway, and after it ended, her body was dragged into the closet.
Plausible. Trying to hide her body away from any prying eyes and people wandering down the hallway. Though we have to explain the bucket inside the janitor's closet, don't we?
If that happened, shouldn't there have been streaks of blood on the floor? Or in the hallway?
That too.
Drag marks? Can't say I saw any.
Trust the ultimate drag racer to notice anything to do with drags.
It was merely a jest. No need to take it so seriously.
Oh, Toshiko. As soon as she's questioned on her beliefs, oh no, I was just joking. Don't worry. No, don't mind me.
Instead of dragging the victim, what if the killer carried her?
Oh, poor Grace is still out of commission. Even if the killer carried her, there should be blood droplets leaking from her holy body. And I don't mean that in a religious way.
I don't know why they would want to do that, but it would explain the lack of drag marks.
Plus, we're missing a pool of blood, aren't we?
But then, wouldn't the killer have been covered in...
Blood. Aye. It should have gotten everywhere.
Especially the amount of time she got stabbed.
Those wounds were brutal. A few inches deep, I reckon. Carrying her would have done nothing to stop the blood flow.
Good point.
Well, maybe the bleach had something to do with cleaning up the pool of blood around?
She was obviously killed in the closet. That's where the blood was.
Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry for derailing the conversation.
It's okay, it's fine. As long as you're not doing it maliciously and you're not full of yourself.
Moving on. That fight. The victim had the gun, but she was overpowered?
Yeah, if you don't know how to use a gun, I can imagine.
If she wanted to, she could have just, you know...
Pow, you know?
It doesn't make much sense, does it?
There must be something we're missing. Something that explains how the victim was overpowered. And I know I'm the only one who could figure that out, not that fucking lawyer over there. Alright. I'll talk about agree points, even though we've already had an agree point appear, but thank you for bringing it up. That just solidifies the fact that we need to agree during this round of debate. During the last non-stop debate, you would have noticed that some phrases were blue. Thank you for bringing that up. Bet you weren't expecting that, huh? Those phrases are called agree points. They are the counterpart to weak spots. As the name would suggest, if an agree point aligns with the evidence you've gathered, you can use your truth bullets to prove it correct. Simply aim your reticle at it, as you would with a weak spot, and shoot. Not like that Kara Koskinen character who couldn't fire the gun. In your pursuit of the truth, you must be prepared to corroborate your classmates' testimonies. When it would be wise to do so is for you to figure out. Good luck! Sheesh, I think playing on mean has drastically reduced the amount of time I've got, so we've only got like 2 passes at the debate to come up with an answer. Bucket, tablet, victim's hands, bloody knife.
Killer pulled a fast one and knocked the gun out of her hands.
Okay.
By the sounds of it, those two did have a crazy tussle.
But she still carried a gun. So why didn't she shoot?
I bet that girl didn't even see them coming.
Never saw it coming,
Maybe
huh?
she thought the killer was her friend? I know I wouldn't hurt a friend.
True.
She tried clawing their eyes out.
Yeah, after the fact. After she got stabbed. Why did the victim not shoot her attacker? Everyone's got a theory, but who has the actual answer? A friend didn't see it coming. Let's review the tablet. She stabbed in the torso 28 times. Chemical burns to the head. Notable burns are to her eyes and scalp. Didn't see it coming. There are burns on her eyes. It has to be that.
By the sounds of it, those two did have a crazy tussle.
She was visually impaired.
She still carried a gun. So why didn't she shoot?
Let's see if that's the right answer here.
I bet that girl didn't even see them coming.
Ah! Focus! No!
Maybe
That's what I get for trying to be cocky. Okay. We're running out of time. That's gonna cost me.
That's slimy.
I bet that girl didn't even see.
Okay, here we go. Done.
I got it.
Here's my consent, Jean. Okay, we still got this. We still got this.
Actually has a point.
We're having too much trouble
The
so
victim
far.
probably couldn't see what was going on. According to the tablet, she suffered chemical burns to the face and eyes. That sort of injury would have effectively blinded her. Also, inside the janitor's closet, there was a large empty bottle of bleach. That's probably the chemical that caused the burns.
Burned from bleach, huh?
Blinded? With bleach? That's horrible.
Yeah.
All that pain, yet she still managed to fight back?
I wouldn't call it... Well, I suppose it is fighting back, but it would have been a flurry, panicked raking of the air until she eventually got him in the skin.
She sure put up a struggle. Without a gun, I guess the next best thing was her hands.
But the thing is, she didn't fire the gun still. You can still blind fire it, right?
So the killer was definitely the one who blinded her.
Indeed. Knowing she had a gun, he blinded her to make her less dangerous. Then, when he pinned her against the door and stabbed her, she tried to retaliate.
I guess you could say it would be just as dangerous to have a blind gunman around, especially in such a tight corridor like that. The hallway and the closet, she could just fire randomly, and who knows where she's going to land her shots.
Until eventually dying from her wounds.
But, suppose it's the best thing you can do if you're trying to ambush her.
Jeez, this is brutal. Couldn't they have toned down the violence?
I mean, who knows? Maybe things are only going to get even more violent as we go through, Cassidy.
The past is in the past, and we can't change that. All we can do is solve her untimely death, eh?
Hey.
I mean, by the sounds of it, we've already figured it out, right?
It can't be that simple, though.
No. Not yet.
Wolfie, gangsta.
Seriously?
Still haven't decided which affectionate nickname I want to give you.
But we've already discussed so much!
We have?
We know she was armed. We know she was blinded. We figured out how she died. How is this not a closed case?
Well, it depends on Mr. Speakerman.
Please understand, I'm proud of everyone's hard work so far.
Thank you.
Because of you, we're one step closer to bringing the victim justice.
This was never about the dummy.
We've practically used all our truth bullets already.
However, we should think of this case like an equation. Knowing how it works is only half the struggle. Now we need to figure out why.
Oh, we need a motive, do we?
As in, The motive?
There's not a lot to go on, considering we don't know who Kara is, and there isn't exactly a letter lying around or anything, right?
Mm-hmm. You're on the right track.
You speak like we have any information on the killer. The man's a stock image. He doesn't even have a name.
There's that, too.
What are we supposed to ascertain from that? That he's a non-character?
Not every answer will be written down for you. Sometimes actions speak louder than...
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold the phone!
Grace, welcome back to the land of the living.
Grace?
Whoa, what? Since when was Grace back to normal?
Right now, soybean.
As soon as she's respawned.
Watching you guys try to solve this mystery has been like watching a dumpster catch on fire.
Really now?
I guess all that smoke must have clouded your vision, 'cause there's a big-ass elephant in this room.
Oh, yeah?
An elephant in the room?
That's giving us too much credit.
So the killer incapacitated that girl. She had a gun, it makes total sense.
Right.
Problem is, you've yet to explain how he used the bleach.
Okay, sure. That's no problem.
I sort of assumed he spilled it on the victim.
Right. He just tipped the bottle over her.
Not quite. It was in the bucket, and he probably tossed the bucket.
That bottle is where the bleach came from, sure. But I doubt the bottle itself was involved in the murder. When we found it, it was neatly ordered on a shelf near the back of the closet. The gun and knife were just thrown on the floor. So it's weird this weapon was handled so differently.
What else was thrown on the floor there, Desmond? What do you think?
Do you think the killer just poured the contents of that bottle into something else?
Sure, before the actual murder took place, I'd say.
And what is this something else?
Okay, you're telling it like you know what it is, Grace.
Go on. Explain it before this dumpster turns molten.
Oh, God. She's really stubborn about this. But I get the point she's trying to make. Before we move on from this subject, we need to make sure its logic is completely sound. Alright then, let's put out this fire. That scornful look. Okay, time to extinguish the flames of this dumpster before it stinks up the room.
Well, if the original bottle's been emptied...
Straight to bucket.
Where'd the bleach go?
Into another bottle?
What about a container? There were a
Container.
bunch in the closet.
I bet the killer had a secret water gun.
Not a water gun.
So when the victim came in, pow! He squirted her in the eyes.
Oh my.
Hey, the ink vanishes when the battle's over.
Call the fire brigade, Grace.
Well, to inflict those chemical burns, the killer had to use something. But what? A container. A bucket.
If the original...
Okay, let's not be too cocky. Let's actually...
I got it.
Oh, good. I thought I missed it. Let's actually focus when we need to. So we don't miss our shot. Barely
She's
made it,
correct.
though.
The killer put the chemicals in a bucket.
That's twice. I've been skimming by the skin of my teeth here.
Or, more specifically, the same bucket we found at the crime scene. After all, it reeked of bleach. If the killer didn't use it to transport bleach, what else did they use it for? Personal cleaning? I doubt it.
Yeah, you think he went to mop his room up by the time all was said and done?
Yo, that makes sense.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Are you calling me a broken clock, Ingrid?
Okay, cool. So, how'd the killer use that bucket to spill bleach in the victim's eyes?
Tossed it.
It would be a fairly heavy bucket, so it's unlikely he threw it on her.
Oh my god, how much bleach did he pour into it?
She'd shoot him before he even had the chance. Use your brain, mate.
So, of course. Home Alone style, those burns to her head as well.
Of course, my apologies.
It's a good question. How was the killer able to get a hefty bucket of chemicals into the victim's eyes? Especially without her knowing. There must have been some kind of clue we're missing here. Think, Damon, think.
Even if he did manage to splash her, the girl should have sustained intense facial burns.
That's why it came from above.
However, aside from her eyes, her face was relatively untouched.
Convenient that dropping the bleach above, how it pours under her scalp, it just dribbled down to her eyes and that's it, nowhere else.
Well, if you check the tablet, it said she had burns to the scalp, too.
Yep.
Burns to the scalp? How does that work?
How does that work? Well, the bleach made contact with her scalp.
Unless those chemicals came from above?
There we go. Above. Yes, that's right, above. I better jump in on this so everyone thinks I'm smart.
Did the killer somehow suspend the bucket in the air? Maybe there was a mechanism that made it tip over when someone entered the room.
You know, putting it, if you keep the door ajar, I suppose you could put the bucket on top of it, right? And then as soon as you open the door fully.
Where's this bucket supposed to be again?
Above.
Above. Which, well, could mean anything.
Was the killer hiding above the door frame?
Yeah, they were on the ceiling like Spider-Man.
There's no way they were up there. There's nothing for them to sit or hold on to. Not to mention, they could have stabbed her from up there.
That's why the stepladder was by the door, too. That's how he set it up.
And if there's no place for the killer to sit, then there's no place for the bucket to sit.
Unless you take into account the size difference.
Eh?
The space above the entrance might not be able to support a person, but it could still support something as small as a bucket.
There we go. The bucket was plotted.
And that thing supporting the bucket?
The killer wanted two things. For the bucket to be above the victim, and for it to spill on her when she entered the room. In other words, he needed to balance the bucket. But on what? Here we go. What did the killer balance the bucket on? It would be the door. Nothing. Stepladder. Door. Knife. Come on, I gotta see what happens when we say knife.
What does that weapon have to do with anything?
Well, you see, the knife pinned it to the ceiling, you see, and then there's a hole in the bucket, so slowly the bleach would drool out and run down the hilt of the knife. I messed up. Okay, not a lot going on there. I thought there'd be more. Okay, let's go straight for stepladder. One last time.
That stepladder is like half my height. No way the killer used it.
Oh, the killer used it, but it wasn't for the bucket. Damn it, I made a fool of myself. Alright, here we go. Door.
I got it.
Time to get serious. I'm just testing the caliber of my classmates, you know?
But I've got it. The killer just balanced the bucket on the door.
Just like that.
Like in those water bucket pranks people film?
Just like that.
Exactly. When the victim came into the room, she pushed open the door and caused the bucket to fall on her.
So she walked into the janitor's closet, armed with a gun, opened the door, and the bucket fell on her.
This would make it so she couldn't shoot back or even get a chance to see her assailant.
Which means our murderer here resolved to kill her for quite some time and knew she was armed for quite some time.
When the bucket hit the ground, it probably rolled away. That'd explain why we found it a couple feet from the victim.
That is a possibility, yes.
It sounds like the best conclusion.
All right, we're making some headway.
There's just one problem. How was the killer able to reach that high?
Stepladder.
Unless they were abnormally tall, it'd be difficult to place something on top of that door.
Come on, you didn't think of... I mean, even if there wasn't a stepladder there, maybe they found something to boost themselves, like a box or something.
Well, let's use that as our next point of discussion. How did the killer set up this trap?
To balance that bucket on the door, the killer would need to reach pretty high. Was there anything at the crime scene they could have used as a boost? If I can answer that, it'll add further credibility to my theory. Spot selection! Here it is.
This is it.
Let's not beat around the bush this time around.
There was a stepladder hiding behind the closet door. The killer probably used that. After climbing it, they could position the bucket right on top of the door.
Figures.
My precious stepladder? You think the bad guy used my super duper obvious stepladder?
Your stepladder? You claimed ownership over it already?
Match point! Occam's razor!
Yes, it appears our killer didn't care much for subtlety.
I don't know, putting a bucket above the door was pretty subtle.
No matter how obvious it seems, it's the only answer that makes sense.
It was the only knickknack of its kind, too. If there's something else that killer could have used, it's escaping me.
And, I mean, it's positioned by the door already.
I see. It makes sense with what we've got so far.
So, have we prevented the dumpster wildfire from spreading?
But I'm not done yet. I still have one last question for you apes.
Go on.
Please just leave us alone. Oh, I'm so tired.
Hey, don't be like that. Grace may be loud, but her questions have really helped our discussion.
Plus, we already had an extended nap on the train.
Anyway, what was the killer doing when that bucket poured onto the girl's head?
I don't know, biding his time.
He obviously didn't just stand there and observe.
Well, he knew to pounce on her straight away the moment she got blinded, right? Otherwise, she could have recovered enough to see him coming. I have to agree. They must have been hiding somewhere, waiting for her to arrive. Somewhere nearby, I'd assume. Where was the killer hiding? Let's see our options. Outside the janitor's closet, on top of the door frame, behind the door, in the back of the janitor's closet. I would say the back of the janitor's closet, simply because outside the janitor's closet is the hallway, there's no room to hide. On top of the door frame, we've discounted that because there's no space. Behind the door is the stepladder.
I got it.
That's breaking it down. And considering our health is low, let's
I've got it. The
concentrate a
killer was
little bit.
hiding in the back of the closet. If he was pressed up against the furthest shelf and facing the entrance, there'd be a diagonal path between him and his victim.
Damn, I'm loving that we even got these diagrams. That's really cool.
I say diagonal because that's the only way you can make a direct charge forward. Also, when the victim entered the room, she would have been standing with her back to the hallway, right outside the killer's range.
I still think it's pretty dangerous for him to be standing diagonal there. What if the bucket missed? I feel like he should have been tucked away in the corner there where the shelf is. So even if the bucket missed, she would have been surprised by it falling, and then he could have charged at her. He didn't have to run directly up to her and stab her from the front, right? Like, he could have approached from the side and, you know, hooked his arm around, surely.
That's why the stab wounds were only made to her chest.
So, you know, I'm going to take some points away from the killer here. Shouldn't be standing in such an obvious spot.
Creating the crime scene we found! Great job, guys! We're actually doing this!
See?
That was the last mystery, right? We must have put everything together now.
No, gangsta's still worried that we don't have a motive.
Even if it's all fake, I feel really bad for this victim.
It's an ugly sight, but she's no victim.
She was armed.
Huh?
Well, technically she is, but let's be real. The girl was carrying a gun.
Yeah, I mean, she's the ultimate teacher's aide. Was she also the teacher's bodyguard?
She probably provoked the killer, and they killed her in self-defense. It's a clear-cut case of the hunter becoming the hunted, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a guarantee that he killed her in self-defense. I mean, I can imagine, yeah, if she was stalking the halls with a gun looking for him, ready to murder him, and this was his only chance of getting out, then yeah.
That's no excuse.
Really?
What?
I mean, she was stabbed 28 times. That's a bit excessive, even for self-defense.
There's no justifying murder.
Oh, I don't know about that, Wolfie.
Killing a woman is the worst thing a man could do.
Oh, really?
You're emanating a sizable amount of emotional tension. Are you okay?
You close to a particular tragedy, Wolfgang?
There's no excuse. There never was an excuse.
Did you know her?
28 stab wounds. No girl, no person should ever suffer Kara's fate.
28 stab wounds.
Wait, who's Kara?
Oh, God.
It was the victim's name. Didn't anyone read the tablet?
Well, Wolfgang's certainly upped his passion.
I agree with you, dude. But you don't have to shout out your point.
What's going on here?
Oi, what's all this about? We figured out the case. Stop trying to drag it on.
Do you know something we don't?
No. We're not finished here.
Huh?
There's no murder without a proper motive. We need to discuss why Kara died.
I am not going this far for a fictional murder case. We aren't looking for a murderer. We're looking for answers, which we have.
Do you turn in a half-finished exam, Winona? An essay without its conclusion?
Okay.
This isn't about efficiency, this is about being right. Or do you, a supposed entrepreneur, not value integrity?
He's taking this very seriously, whether it's his job as a lawyer to see a case through to its conclusion, or he's personally attached to this case, or another similar one. Remains to be seen.
What the hell?
Let's just talk about the motive. There's no harm in doing that, right?
Diana's getting nervous, especially because the yelling has started again.
Well, what was the motive? Was the killer fighting for their life? Or were they going out of their way to murder?
Maybe the gun freaked him out.
If I was in the killer's shoes, I'd definitely be nervous.
Well, yeah, your victim is wielding a gun. Why would you have to kill her, despite that fact that she's a major threat?
Thing is, while acting out of self-defense is possible, Since when does it look like this?
Yeah, this looks like a crime of passion.
Given the severity, I'd liken it to a crime of passion.
Something done on impulse?
I don't know. If the bucket had to be set up, I wouldn't call it impulse.
What if they were frightened? A spooky thing might have set them off big time.
That's wrong. There's no way this was done in self-defense.
Oh?
No matter what excuse the killer uses, it doesn't change the fact they have blood on their hands.
Okay.
Yo, bud. You seem a little pressed.
Silence! I won't allow this!
Oh god. Wolfgang, are you gonna present yourself as the mastermind any second now or something? Wow, things are getting emotional. While you've only been using logical arguments. Logical arguments? Sorry, I had to. To further the trial so far, now might be a good time to change your approach. Introducing the pathos mechanic. Here we go. During non-stop debates, the emotionally charged commentary of your classmates will appear as purple text. These comments are called pathos statements. Okay, so we're going to need our silencer here. You can absorb these pathos statements by hovering over them with your reticle and pressing E. No, never mind. It's not things that need to be dispelled. These are... Oh, it's just like the first and second game where we had to absorb them to present as truth bullets. Okay. That mechanic always made me nervous, and here it's made its triumphant return. Pathos statement will be added to our truth cylinder if we press E or lift trigger. Surprising that they're suddenly mentioning controller controls. Find a weak spot that is directly contradicted by the pathos statement and fire. If successful, you will make a powerful emotional argument to counteract your opponents. Stay on the lookout for pathos statements, while you'll always be able to advance the trial using pure logic. Emotional arguments can lead to some unique conversations. Oh, okay, so it's kind of like a back route. Interesting. Given the amount of time we have with these debates, though, will I have a chance to find the correct pathos statements to fire off? I mean, I'd love to if I could. Let's keep an eye out for both our options here, both logical and pathos. That's neat. I like that. Tablet, bloody knife, assault rifle, bucket, victim set. Basically
Kara
everything.
so easily and without restraint. There is no way to justify this.
It's a long debate, though. We get 3 minutes.
Take a chill pill, man.
You expect me to stay calm? This was the sadistic killing of one of humanity's brightest.
We shouldn't make a lot of assumptions about the killer's morals. This could have been self-defense.
You don't even know the damn killer. Just the crime scene they left behind.
This killer, dead or alive, deserves to be brought to justice!
But how can we do that? There's no reason to trust you if you have no proof.
So says the ultimate liar.
Okay, well, there was only one statement we could absorb as a pathos one, and fortunately, I couldn't absorb it for some reason. Was this murder justified, or was it truly unforgivable? I feel like I have an obligation to find the truth. Okay.
To kill Kara so easily and without restraint.
I did hold it. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Let's see if we can try it again. I still need to think about what we want to present as a logical argument, too. A lot going on in this particular debate.
There is no way to justify this.
Take a chill pill, man.
You expect me to stay calm?
Yeah, kind of.
This was the sadistic killing of one of humanity's brightest.
Sadistic killing. I mean, I've got nothing to say that will agree with it. I mean, technically, she was stabbed in the torso 28 times. That's sadistic. And that would consent.
We shouldn't make a lot of assumptions about the killer's morals. This could have been self-defense.
You don't even know the damn killer. Just the crime scene they left behind.
This killer, dead or alive, deserves to be brought to justice!
I feel like I need to fire Loy's intuition on that
But
crime
how can
scene
we do that?
statement there.
There's no reason
There we
to
go.
trust you
Absorbed.
if
Empathy
you have
bullet.
no proof.
Cool. Alright, let's fire that at Winona's statement and see if that gets us anywhere.
To kill
We
Kara
won't have much
so
time
easily
otherwise.
and without restraint.
There is no way to take it. You expect me to... This was the sadistic... We shouldn't make a lot about the killers. This could have been self... You don't even...
Know the damn killer. Just the crime
Here we go.
behind.
No, it's wrong. Oh god.
What's wrong with that? Is there a second crime scene only you know about?
No. Ugh, I need to think this over. I don't have time.
To
Okay.
kill Kara so easily and without restraint.
What else can I fire this at?
There is no way
It's still
to
in my
justify
truth
this.
cylinder at the very least.
Even just the crime scene they left
Oh, this is
behind.
our last
This
stand
killer,
here.
dead or alive.
It's gotta be something we can
deserves
fire
to
this
be
on.
brought to justice.
18 seconds.
But how can we do that? There's no reason.
No reason to trust you.
No, that's wrong!
Wow, on this very same statement that it exists on, I should have known.
Expertise shouldn't be overlooked here. If there's anyone to believe, it's the lawyer.
Oh, Damon, empathizing here.
Say what?
What?
Wolfgang has spent his life in the courtroom and on the crime scene. He'd understand the criminal mind in ways we can't possibly imagine.
His life? He's like 18, Damon. Okay, let's take it easy. He's not some wise sage who's like 75. Unless he's been in the courtroom since he was 5 years old or something.
He was even emotionally invested in a murder case he'd never seen before.
Oh, we're getting to him.
If his lawyer's intuition tells us that the killer was in the wrong, then we have no reason to disagree.
Interesting. Okay. This is certainly different from, making a logical argument.
We're all ultimates for a reason. We need to trust in talent.
Although some of you, I kind of disagree on with regards to your ultimate abilities, but hey, you were chosen, so I guess I can't argue with that.
Well spoken. If Wolfgang is adamant about the killer's intentions, we should have faith in him.
Okay.
Yeah, Wolfgang's clearly trying his best for us.
We're putting all our faith in Wolfgang.
Let's trust in the lawyer and his bargain bin buddy.
Thanks.
Hey!
If it means going home, then new guy's convinced me.
Why am I the new guy? We're all new.
Right on! Team Wolfgang all the way!
Oh, there we go.
Thank you all for your support.
Well, Winona's not too pleased about it.
Well, Eva, do you still disagree?
Even if I did, it's not worth pursuing.
Does this mean we're done here?
I don't know.
Hey! We're disembodied voice! We've figured out your stupid case. Now let us leave!
Not until you've drawn a wonderful comic book for me. Oh dear. I guess he should have just turned on the telly.
Oh, you're finally done. In all honesty, I stopped paying attention a long time ago.
Oh, well, you might as well release us then. It's clear we're not going to be able to entertain you.
What? We only went through this case because of you.
Silly me, I have a short attention span.
Oh.
So, just for my own benefit, why don't you summarize the information you've learned?
Yeah, gladly.
It'll be good practice.
Practice?
Fine. I'll do as you ask.
Me, personally?
I'll present the truth.
Shouldn't Wolfgang be doing it? He's now taken over main character duties.
We'll present the truth together.
Alright, let's all scribble in a panel.
Let's dig into it.
It's time to bring this trial to an end. It's time for the closing argument. During closing argument, you must summarize the case from start to finish. Naturally, your medium will be a comic book, naturally. Ooh, I'm liking how it's presented so far as well. Since the class has a relatively good understanding of the case, some parts of the comic are already complete. But it seems your peers have glossed over the smaller details, judging by those gaps in the story. To fill these gaps, you have been provided a collection of stock panels. Use the WASD keys to navigate your stock and press the spacebar to select a panel. Hover your mouse over the relevant gap and press the left key to insert the panel. If you wish to undo your selection, simply press the spacebar again. Don't forget the Q and E keys. That's how you flip between pages. By the way, gaps will reveal a hint if you hover over them. If you ever need to revisit this information, the control panel is only one F3 key away. Now stand up straight, fix that tie. We've got a case to close.